Would you like to feel more motivated to get things done? Lots of us have things we want to get done, but we haven't gotten around to, or we just keep putting off. And so this is the first video that's going to deal with feeling motivated to do things. It's the third video of the Jailbreak Yourself series, and the second one dealing with state management. And this is going to be a hardware approach to feeling more motivated. And it's stolen directly from Mel Robbins, the author of the 5-second rule. And it's called the 5-second rule. And it goes like this. Let me start by explaining how the technique is done, and then a little bit about why it probably works. And then I'm going to set you free into the world to cause a ruckus, as Seth Godin says. So, the 5-second rule goes like this. Under normal circumstances, when we encounter things that are outside of our comfort zone, that are somewhat unfamiliar, our natural response is to be somewhat fearful of those things. And the part of us that keeps us alive and helps predict our environment will often shut us down from doing new things. That'll keep us from doing things outside of our comfort zone. But everything you want that you don't have yet is outside of your comfort zone. So how do you get past that? Well, the 5-second rule is a good hardware approach to it. And I say it's a hardware approach because what it does is it actually gives you behaviors to do that interfere with that jam up process I just described, and also puts you back in position of doing the thing by engaging dopamine. And I'll tell you how. So it goes like this. Let's say you see somebody who would be very good to network with for your career or something like that. And you say, hey, I should go talk to that person. But then immediately, here comes these feelings, here come these excuses. Before those excuses set in, when you have that idea, even when you have that first sense of hesitation, you immediately 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin counting backwards from 5 to 1 in your head, and then physically move your body in the direction of the thing you would have otherwise avoided. So what this is doing is engaging the prefrontal cortex, which if you left it to its own devices might start making excuses why not to do that thing to justify the feelings generated in the limbic system. It's taking the prefrontal cortex and is putting it to a task. A linear task that has a definite endpoint. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move. Now, movement always implicates dopamine. It always means that dopamine is present. Without dopamine, you don't move at all. And so, by moving the physical body, you're actually engaging dopamine. You're heading towards a thing that you might have otherwise perceived as a threat. By the wonderful virtues of cognitive dissonance, your brain's going to have to figure out that, well, I guess it must not have been a threat. And those feelings of that thing being a threat start to fall away. So essentially what you're doing is, in that regard, a more advanced version of the whole as if thing that I talked about in the last video, in how to use your body to help create feelings. And by moving towards this object that you might have otherwise considered to be a threat, by jamming up the prefrontal cortex from making excuses, but also focusing the activity of the brain in the prefrontal cortex and not in the limbic system, you've allowed yourself to get around a signal that might have otherwise stopped you in your tracks and prevented that connection from happening. So that is Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. There are plenty of videos of Mel out there describing the technique. It's essentially what I just said. When you have that idea of that thing you want to do, before you even have the opportunity to make excuses why not, before you have any opportunity to feel any feelings of trepidation, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move your body And I think you'll find that that technique is a useful one. This is one hardware approach to the issue of motivation. There are lots of software approaches to the issue of motivation. And also probably better frames for talking about it than talking about it like motivation. But today's just a little video. I wanted to share this little trick with you. This is video 3 in the Jailbreaking Yourself series. If you don't already know me, my name's Chris Swift from White Rabbit Hypnosis. I hope you hang out and check out more of these videos as they're released, or swing by whiterabbithypnosis.com, or find me on Facebook to see what other kind of stuff I'm up to and what kind of things I might be able to help you with. Meanwhile, wishing you all the best out there in this crazy world. Be seeing you.